what's up? It's your girl Tila, creator of Trade Your 9 to 5, and today we're talking about a little advice that I've been hearing floating around where they say you haven't lost any money until you sell, and I'm here to let you know it's a lie. Let's get started. All right, so I've been hearing some advice just kind of floating around out there for a couple of you folks, and you've come to me and asked me about this, and I've even seen it posted here in the group. But I've seen the advice where they say, if as long as you don't sell, you haven't lost any money. Well, I think that is the wrong mindset to have when it comes to trading the stock market. It's a mindset that will have you go broke really quick. So it's best to kind of get a handle on that and to really dismiss it right away so that you aren't going broke. All right. So, and the reason why I think it is not a good framework or mindset to work from is because, one, if, say for instance, you bought a stock at $40 and it goes down to $35, people giving that advice would say that you haven't lost anything unless you go to sell it. Well, my question is, what if the stock then goes to 25? Then what if it goes to 10? With that mindset of you haven't lost anything until you sell, it could have you holding on to a stock all the way to zero. All right. So, and I've seen that happen before in the market. There's companies that have gone completely bankrupt. They've completely gone out of business and left with, their stock being worthless. And so if you go forward with that mindset of you haven't lost anything until you sell, you could be hanging on to zero. And I don't want that to be you. Okay. Think of it from the perspective of buying a home. All right. So remember during the housing market, when everything was up, homes were like selling, they were like really expensive and selling really well. And then we reached a point where the bubble kind of burst, right? Where you had those people who paid like $400,000 for their home. Once that bubble burst, the home was then worth $100,000 to $200,000, right? Now, would you think that your home is still worth $400,000? No, your home is worth what everything else around it is selling for. And at that time, it was all selling for $100,000 to $200,000, right? Because that bubble had burst. But you can't sit there thinking you're going to be able to sell your house at $400,000, okay? Same thing with your stock. If you bought this stock at $40 and it has now gone down to $35, you can't go forward with that mindset that, well, I still have $40 worth of stock because I haven't sold yet. Like, I can just still sell at 40 or keep hanging on and still be able to sell at 40. That is the complete wrong mindset to go by. Your stock is worth what it's currently worth, which is the current price on the stock market. Okay. So if it went from 40 to 35, guess what? Your stock is only worth 35. And you have to develop the mindset to be okay with the fact that it went from 40 to 35. No, don't be okay with the fact that you lost money or are losing money, but be okay knowing that the stock market doesn't go straight up and it doesn't go straight down. Okay. So it's fluctuating for a reason. And what you have to do is figure out why it's fluctuating, why it's going in the direction that it's going in. All right. And you have to ask yourself, is this the time where I sell this decline in the stock? Is this where I need to sell because the stock has gone down? What do you need to look at to determine that is what else is going on in the market? All right. So there's a lot of things going on and you have to stop and figure out, okay, is something wrong with this company? Is something wrong with this stock? Is there something wrong with this trade that I'm currently in? Usually the answer is no. It's usually some type of market news, finance news, or some type of world news, or it's just a day where the overall crowd or the overall market is just headed in the opposite direction as you, all right? And that tends to like drag your stock down. But that isn't a time for you to like panic and sell or even think, well, I haven't sold yet, so I haven't lost any money. No. you've lost some money, okay? But it's not a bad thing. That's just the fluctuation in the market, okay? So that's something you have to deal with, is that emotion of knowing that, okay, my stock did go down a little bit, but what's going on? Is it okay? Is everything the way that it needs to be? And that involves also knowing what is the current season of the stock market, all right? Because throughout the year, the stock market fluctuates differently. It moves differently, just like we have different seasons throughout the year. The market itself has different movements, different seasons itself. So you need to figure out what season is your stock in, what season is the market in right now, because it might be a time of year where your stock does go down, all right? And so when you're trading, knowing what season the market is in, and what trends maybe your stock has, maybe your stock has a trend of going down this time of year, then you know how to react. You know what to expect. You can say, okay, it's just the current season, or the stock has a trend of doing this right now, or there's some market news out there that's just affecting everything as a whole, okay? But if you go forward with that mindset of, I haven't lost anything because I haven't sold it, you'll be hanging on for way too long, all right? If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe, all right? I will see you guys on the next show.